Hey everybody, welcome to a commentary for Evelynn the Widowmaker. This game was to showcase AP Evelynn, which is actually growing a lot more popular in the higher ELOs. It turns out that while her AP ratios may not be spectacular, her base damages and the way she applies her damage is actually quite good. The build I usually am accustomed to is Deathfire Grasp, and then I just go boots, sort of like I already have boots actually right off the bat, but usually I get like 2 Doran's rings, which actually it's arguable if you even need those because her mana costs are like nothing, and she gets free mana regen in her stealth passive, so she's got that working for her. But I like to get Doran's rings just so I don't necessarily need blue buff on a solo queue team. This is actually, as you may be able to tell, a solo queue game with people I don't actually know. So I didn't know for sure if I was actually going to get blue buff or not, so I didn't want to rely on my teammates completely. Granted, we did have a Shyvana, so she probably would have given it to me if I had asked, but I really, and I got it a few times actually too, but really with Evelynn you shouldn't really need blue buff a whole lot. I mean, her cooldowns are low enough to the point where there's just no particular reason why you'd ever really need the item. Right here, I'm just trying to guard her. I'm just escorting Shyvana to her red, you know. Lately, people have been invading more often, but it doesn't look like this team was actually going to invade. They just go ahead and go right to their lanes. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this a bit. I mean, not much happens here. No one invades, so it's not like anything... not like anything really happens for the first few minutes here. But anyway, I really like AP Evelynn. It's really good. I've been really accustomed lately to aggressive mid lanes, especially Evelynn, who can actually win trades with relative ease during all stages of the game. She's very much a nuke assassin, which is a playstyle I really like, actually. I've always really liked my assassins. As I may have mentioned before, when Talon came out, he was one of my favorites because of how wonderful and how awesome his kit was until he got nerfed really hard for no particular reason. So, I'm facing a Ziggs, and right off the bat you can kind of maybe notice that Ziggs really needs a lot. I mean, like, I've never really thought Ziggs was that spectacular. I mean, his damage is good, but he has no real way of getting away from anything. And that's why whenever I see a Ziggs as any AP carry, I pretty much think it's free food, because it kind of is. And right here, I don't know if we actually kill him. Yeah, we do it. Shyvana gets first blood. He ignites me, it doesn't kill me, thank God, but I wasn't really that worried anyway. I mean, he ignited way too early. It was mostly a panic ignite, which a lot of people who are about to get first blooded do. So that was a pretty nice first blood. I go ahead and get 233 gold out of that, so it's not a complete loss. I mean, I would have preferred to have first blood, but it's perfectly fine either way. Right here, you'll notice that one of the things I like to do is bait out people's slows to show them what's up. I mean, like, there's really nothing... One of the reasons I picked one of the reasons I picked Evelynn was because they have a lot of slows. They don't have a lot of hard CC other than like Ziggs' knockback and Tarek's stun. Tarek's stun was the only reason I really got cleansed. One of the things that Evelynn is known for is her ability to cleanse slows. And then look, I don't even care, and then I just attack him back, and really don't care either way. I mean, he did kind of win the trade-off, and he's probably going to just heal up anyway, but I just wanted to show him that I don't really care about it. And another thing that people don't give Evelynn credit for is the fact that she can win exchanges really easily because of the fact that when she stealth, skill shot champions really need to just kind of wild card everything, and that really puts her at a big advantage, and I really like that about her. Fast forwarding through here, just kind of farming and stuff, nothing spectacular happening here. I'm waiting until I get 6, because what happens after I hit level 6 as Evelynn is I start roaming around, because my stealth plus my ultimate that slows slows in an area of effect, and also does damage in percentage due to their percentage of health and gives me a shield, means that I can just kind of appear out of nowhere and just completely demolish people. Especially once I get Deathfire Grasp, you'll see me burst later on. You'll see me burst Ziggs from like full to none in like seconds, which is really spectacular. And I really like I said, I really like AP Evelynn. The main thing though is that she's very strong, but she has her share of counterplay. Namely, teams that are built around locking, like CC locking people, like a Nautilus plus Shen or something, you probably don't want to pick Evelynn because she's not going to get away very easily. The only times I'd really want to use her like all the time are on teams like this, against teams like this where they rely on slows to stick onto people, or they have like no CC, or I mean I could of course pick cleanse habitually, but still, I mean using cleanse to cleanse out of like a CC lock isn't really going to help you very much. I suppose one of the things you could say is that in terms of cleansing, in terms of going in on team fights, you just have to play a bit more carefully when you play Evelynn. And right here, I don't really care. I just kind of go ahead and trade with him and actually win the trade, because one of the other advantages about her W, which is her movement speed thing that cleanses slows, also increases her movement speed in stacks whenever you cast a spell on somebody. The advantage of this is that if you activate it, you can outrun a lot of skill shots. So that means that skill shot reliant champions are probably not going to hit you during the laning phase unless they're like Scion or something where they have like a targeted stun or something like that. Someone like Ryze is someone you probably don't want to use Evelynn against. I mean, just people with hard CC that you don't have to aim are generally people you don't want to fight. People like Morgana, though, you can pretty easily juke and outrun her ultimate, so you know, you don't really have to worry too much about her unless she has boots and you don't. But right here, I want to start roaming, but everyone's pushed to the tower too much, and I'm a little worried about that. But what I do end up doing is I end up helping Shyvana counter jungle. They do kind of catch me-ish here, but like I just use my ultimate. I should have waited till Ziggs got a little closer, but in the end we ended up killing Nunu anyway, so it didn't really matter. And I just, for the most part, I mean, I'm not really ignoring Ziggs. I mean, I kind of am, but I'm kind of remembering that he does do damage. But for the most part, I can just kind of like ignore what Ziggs does at this point. Like, he has blue buff, but Ziggs can even himself with blue buff, which is another one of his big issues. Which is why one of the other reasons why I'm not a huge Ziggs fan. If he gets a few buffs in the future, I might end up using him, but it's just right now where he's at, I'm not a big fan. So I'm just fast forwarding through the farming, not stuff that you guys may not want to see. I do end up trying to gank Yorick. I mean, one of the things that Evelynn can do really well is just walk past wards and just not care. Yeah, he ends up flashing here. I kind of stay too long. I kind of should have just gone back to mid and then farmed again. But I wanted to go around to see if we could actually kill him this time, but unfortunately, I do end up using my ultimate for some stupid reason here. Kind of a stupid move on my part, but anyway, I mean, it's on a low enough cooldown, so it didn't really matter. I mean, it was kind of stupidly used there. I probably should have used it on like bot lane or something. I should have used it right then. Something I want to bring to your attention too is that one of the AD carries you can pick against Evelynn is actually Sivir. Sivir actually gives Evelynn a pretty hard time because any one of her spells that Sivir blocks, be it DFG, her Ravage, Ultimate, any of those, that's a lot of her damage. So blocking one of those can really hurt Evelynn. So keep that in mind next time you're picking an AD carry and they have an AP Evelynn mid, is that Sivir can actually be a really big pain in the ass to have to deal with. So I'm just going back to mid lane, just kind of farming as usual, being a farming self. And as I said, I'm winning exchanges against Ziggs. I'm not afraid to get in his face. If Nunu were to gank me, I'd just kind of cleanse any slow I had on me and get out safely. So you definitely want, if you see an Evelynn first pick or third pick or something like that, you definitely want to build your team around CC, because not doing so can be very hazardous to your health. I don't know where Yorick is in terms of... Oh, over there. Must have ignited him. Oh boy, that's... Wow. Ziggs didn't do any damage right there, so that was interesting. I'm coming down to mid lane because I wanna make something happen out of this. I start to come for Taric, but then I realize that they have that under control. I try to loop around here. I want to get into range of these guys. I probably shouldn't have revealed that I was out of stealth that quickly, but I figured they were at low enough health anyway to the point where it didn't really matter. And right here, I have enough range to go ahead and clean that up with my Q, and we get it out relatively safe. You'll notice I started out with my Kage's Lucky Pick. I intended to build that into a DFG. I ended up going Abyssal Scepter after this. I know it got nerfed, the aura got nerfed, but that doesn't really matter because Evelynn's ranges are so kind of like are relatively low as it is, to the point where you don't really have to worry about the aura being at a low range. And right here, she slows me. He slows me, but I go ahead and kill her, and I go ahead and go after this Nunu, and I actually helped Caitlyn get that kill. So that was a positive outcome of that. That's one of the things that, like, another thing that I forgot to mention about her W is the fact that after each kill or assist that she gets, it refreshes. So it can make for a very easy escape for you if you're trying to kill someone, then you gotta get out. Especially if they start to slow you right afterwards. Another thing that counters Evelynn is the fact that a lot of bruisers tend to just make her blow up, so she has to really bide her time in terms of how she how do I say it? You have to really bide your time in terms of where you're going to kill the carry, because if you kill the carry too close to the bruiser's just going to like destroy you. I mean, especially if it's Olaf or something. Olaf is just going to have a free Evelynn meal if you're too close on. I mean, if you're committing too much on the carry. Right here, we have a little bit of a fumble with blue buff. Luckily, I mean, it didn't get too low, and I could just finish it off right then. Let's once more fast forward this. I'm just going to go ahead and show you that I got my boots. I didn't really want to, I mean, I wanted to get my DFG, but not right off the bat. I mean, I couldn't get it right off the bat, for that matter. I mean, right here, I go ahead and harass this Ziggs. And I'm like, I don't really care. I mean, Taric has his stun. Ziggs, unfortunately for him, didn't have the damage to follow up with that. I mean, right here, I could have gone in on him, but I didn't want to bait out his slow and then have him just flash away. And then, plus Yorick was coming, so I didn't know if I could survive. I mean, I didn't see him, but luckily for me, I didn't know if Yorick could survive that. And right here, I have to get the fuck out of here, but unfortunately, I turn around a bit too much, and I end up getting burned down at my tower. There's not a whole lot I could do. I mean, Ziggs ends up finishing me off, so that was a little unfortunate. I should have just, I mean, I killed Sivir, but I shouldn't have just put myself in the middle of everybody to do so. But they end up getting Nunu in the end, and we end up coming out ahead. So that's once more, that's a positive exchange. We're not very ahead. I mean, we have more kills, but by gold, we're only ahead by 3,000. But that gap is only going to get larger. Their team just couldn't really handle us near the end, especially Ziggs, poor guy. I ended up just completely helping people murder him near the end of the game. Somebody that actually doesn't get a lot of praise in terms of how strong the champion is Shyvana. I mean, like, Shyvana is a little outclassed. Oh yeah, you missed. The fact that I blew the... Hang on, let's rewind that a little bit, see how much damage I really did there. So Ziggs is farming and everything. We see him, and look at that damage on him. Oh my goodness. There was not a whole lot he could do about that, if anything at all. Like I said, poor Ziggs. He really can't do anything against this team. I mean, I suppose he could have if, like, we didn't have a Darius, but Darius plus me plus Shyvana getting in his face means that he just suffers. Yeah, let's just fast forward through this again. I'm going ahead and scouting ahead because I can do that. That's another positive outcome of playing Evelynn, is that you can scout out areas where you need to ward. I don't know if warding actually reveals you, but if it does, that'd be interesting to note. I'm just waiting until, I wanted to wait until Tarek tried to stun somebody, but... And look at that, again, look at that damage on Ziggs. That was just my Deathfire Grasp. If I had followed that up with my ultimate at all or something, I probably could have killed him. And right here, I go ahead and completely murk this fucking... Oh, I mean, I didn't kill her, but... Unfortunately, I wanted to get out of that whole slow thing, and Caitlyn wasn't really here for the team fight. I don't know if we end up dying at all here, but... Oh, actually, yeah, nobody on our team ends up dying here. I was a little surprised. I'm trying to skirt around the edge of the battle because I don't want to be focused right off the bat because of my low health. But what I do want to do is I want to help people nuke down members of their team. If Ziggs was coming down here, he'd probably get completely destroyed, and I think he knew that, so... I also didn't want to reveal myself at the tower, because that's another thing that reveals me, is true sight, like towers and all that. Ziggs probably could have killed me if I tried to go in on him, so I just decided not to risk it. Go ahead and get my Deathfire Grasp, good Negatron Cloak for my inevitable Abyssal Scepter. At this point, I'm a little snowbally. I mean, like, that's another thing that Evelynn definitely does. I mean, AP Evelynn is... She definitely snowballs really out of anyone's control. I mean, and even if she's, like, kind of far behind, she can still kill the squishies with relative ease. Especially if you get Deathfire Grasp and your ultimate, that's going to end up nuking down most of their health, so it's definitely something you can look forward to. Fast forwarding through this. I have blue buff again, and I see their team, and I don't want to be murdered by their team at all, so I make sure I'm not seen. But what I do end up doing is I end up fighting that Ziggs, but the problem is I got hit by both Sever Boomerang and his ultimate, so that ended up kind of hurting me. I wanted to wait to use my speed up thing until York tried to slow me. That's why I had used it right off the bat. And I end up getting that kill on Ziggs, and that makes me happy. And look at that shield size, man. That's one of the reasons I really like AP Evelynn, is because of how long the... And here I'm going to do something stupid here. Look at this. I end up, for some reason, I end up trying to fight a dead Sivir, so I don't understand what the purpose of me doing that was. That was just me kind of having a stupid moment. He ends up snowballing the wrong enemy, so that was fortunate for everybody. Either way, though, I mean, I end up getting my Abyssal Scepter, so that's positive, I suppose. That was still sort of a stupid moment on my part, though. I mean, there was no reason for me to go in when I had that little health, and it was a dead Sivir Ghost, so it wasn't like I was going to get anything from that. Let's fast forward through this. Nothing's happening, really. We're just kind of doing our own thing. Overall, though, AP Evelynn is very strong. I mean, everyone knows how kind of imbalanced Zira ended up being, like, the first week. I mean, even, like I said, I ended up realizing how really strong Zira was. I mean, Zira is pretty overpowered. I'm not going to lie, but I think there was an overemphasis on how... quote-unquote overpowered she really was. She had a 60-something win rate, and she still has like a 60-something win rate in like Platinum ELO. But actually Evelynn is actually competing in win rates with her. That's one of the unusual things, actually. No one would have ever thought that was going to happen, but it has. So yeah. So that's that. Evelynn is definitely strong. I mean, like, and look how little damage I took from Ziggs' ultimate. That's the unfortunate part of Ziggs, is that he falls off really, really hard, especially against a character like Evelynn who can afford to build tanky. I'm really scared of Tarek. I mean, if he caught me with a stun, like an inopportune stun, would have been really unfortunate for me. Right here, I don't remember if I used my ultimate right off the bat here. No, I tried to use it on Sivir, and I took her out of the fight, so that was a fortunate thing that I did. And I'm just trying to kill this. I was trying to kill that. Look at how low everyone is. If I had my ultimate right then, I could have easily killed everybody. What ends up happening though is I just end up killing Nunu somehow, and I get out because I'm Evelynn. And they're gonna go ahead and surrender because there's not a whole lot they can do at this point. I mean, we're all too far ahead. Everyone on our team except for Soraka has 6 kills, so it's a little unfortunate for them. But anyway, that's GG, and overall, just give AP Evelynn a try. But like, she's really, really strong where she is. As long as you go AP, don't go like hybrid or AD. It's just, in my opinion, it's just not that effective because you don't end up bursting anybody that well, and you can end up actually hurting your team a lot more because you have to be in range of everything, and being in range of that of anybody for that long can be very catastrophic. So anyway, go ahead and subscribe, favorite, like, do whatever you want to do. Criticize me, do whatever you want. But either way, this has been a commentary with Evelynn the Widowmaker, and it's been a pleasure commentating once again. Been a while. League Replay has been kind of acting funky for me, so forgive me if I don't release them as frequently as I used to. But either way, that's been Evelynn for you, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.